Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kiana and you're watching Nursing with Kiana. Okay guys, so this video is going to be the video where I basically give a overview of what we have been doing thus far. But right now I have to go to the store. So I just said, let me just give y'all some scenery or something like that. So that's what I'm doing. Let me tell y'all, nursing school is nothing to play with. Nursing school is nothing to play with. Like, I'm in week 6 now of nursing school, and I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I feel like I don't know hoopla, okay? I feel like at this point I'm going to have to literally teach myself, which is basically what I'm doing for my other 2 classes. But I feel like, what are we supposed to be studying for effective communication and psychology? Now, don't get me wrong, I love both of those classes because those classes have me do a lot of critical thinking and creativity, and that's what I love about that class, because it's like, it makes you think on a deep emotional connection with certain things. So that's really why I love those 2 classes. Anatomy and physiology. When I first started nursing school, I thought anatomy and physiology, yeah, that's gonna be a piece of cake, because I took that course in medical assistant school. Well, turns out, I'm going under the limit, turns out it's not the same. It's similar, but of course as you go up, it goes more into detail, it's more into depth. But with anatomy and physiology, there are things that I can't change in order for me to grasp the material, such as my teacher's her accent is very strong, so she cannot help that she has an accent. So that's number 1. Number 2, things that I could change is to study more, but I can, but I can't, but I can, but I can't. If that makes sense. Because I work full time, and right now in my life, I'm definitely not financially stable. I have 2 children, so not working is just not an option. So I have to figure out what I can do to be able to work and go to school. So many people will be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have a problem with that, because you're only going to class for 1 day out of the week, basically, like for a Zoom session. Okay, that's fine. But that's also not fine, because even though I'm going to class for one Zoom session a week, I still have to complete the work, the course material, within a certain deadline. So all of our coursework is due 11:59 on Sundays, and our discussions are due on, I guess, 11:59 on Wednesdays. Well, that may seem like a piece of cake, but it's not if you have 2 children, and yeah, so. And I'm not going to use that as an excuse, because there are moms who work full time. There are moms who have more children than I have. And, they're fine, but they're stressed as well. Me, I'm struggling. So one day I had tutoring. It was on a Friday, and it went really well because it was just me one-on-one with my teacher and maybe another student or 2. And that was fine. Well, I can't do tutoring every week because I have to work. I'm not financially stable. I'm not where I want to be, and I'm trying to get a house. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So that's really where I stand right now in nursing school. So effective communication and psychology, those two classes I'm basically fine in. I'm good in anatomy and physiology, but one of my scores are like an 89, and like when I feel like when you hit the 80s, like it's like, okay, like you need to figure out what the issue is. Excuse me, you need to do better, because I think some courses you have to get an 80 to pass or 70 to pass, and I do not want to pass at the bare minimum. So I need to figure out what I can do different so that I can pass and not fail a course, because it's the beginning. I shouldn't be failing the course. I shouldn't be struggling like I am. But so far in the classes, so for anatomy and physiology, so far we've been talking about of course the body systems, what are their function, what are they used for, things of that nature. We talked about we talked about different types of tissues, so connective nervous muscles, epithelium, stuff like that, which and those are kind of like easy, because she talked about that to me in tutoring. She also went over the citric acid cycle with me in tutoring, so those I got down pat, because you know she went over that in tutoring 101, so I had the opportunity to ask questions. But I don't like to like really ask questions in class, because we're on basically like a time schedule, and she needs to get through all the slides, because she basically like reads off the PowerPoint, but she goes into detail on some parts of these slides. We talked about that. What else? We talked about basically about basic biology, and what I mean by that, we talked about like pairing A and T, C and G, so like DNA and RNA. We talked about that, which I'm pretty good at that. We talked about the cell cycle, cell division, cell replication, reproduction, all of that nature. What else we talked about in A and P? What else? There's a lot of other stuff, but I just cannot remember off the top of my head. I don't know. What did we just do our homework on? I just don't know. I can't remember what I just did my homework on last night. It was about the skeleton. That's what it was about. It was about the skeleton and stuff like that. Effective communication and psychology, they both play like a key part in both of them. Like they're kind of like similar. They have you thinking critically. So in psychology, the most recent thing we talked about was a flash bulb memory. So basically it's like a memorable moment, a horrific moment. So you could talk about anything that happened that really affect you in your life. So my discussion for that particular subject, or that particular discussion, was the passing of my mom in 2011, and like that discussion really had me in tears as I'm typing the paper. Like that, like really, like that's the stuff I like doing in class. Like I like being able to like connect with what I'm learning. So another discussion we had to, I think it was effective communication. The most recent one we had before the one we just did, it was about us being us giving out scholarships to students, and we had to read 10 scenarios and then choose 2 winners basically. So I basically chose 2 similar people that I had a connection with, dealing with stuff in my past, and we had to like go into detail as to why we chose them. So I chose one student who come from poverty, basically. So he basically, like, he couldn't really afford nothing coming up. His parents weren't financially stable. Basically, if like event happened in school, he wouldn't be able to attend because he didn't have any money. So I awarded him the scholarship because I said that I basically wanted to give him a chance in life. So I awarded that person the scholarship. The other person I awarded the scholarship was similar, but the only thing is he lost both of his parents. And like I just told you guys, I lost both of my parents. Well, not both of my parents. I lost one of my parents when I was in school. And that event caused me to act out in ways that I shouldn't have acted in school. I had behavioral issues. I had attitude problems. I used to backtalk adults. I used to not give school my all, but look at me now. So that's why I chose that particular candidate. So, like, yeah, guys, yeah, so this is just like a little overview video, basically off the top of my head. We what else we talked about in psychology? We talked about different type of behavioral aspects or perspective, such as neuroscience, cognitive, what else? I don't know, like psychological behaviors. We talked about how the brain works, and things of that nature, and effective communication. We talked about language barriers or different communication barriers in general. The most recent topic we had to discuss was what are other barriers to communication than just language barriers. So in my discussion, my discussion, because we had to reply to other people. In my discussion, I chose another language barrier would be like gender. Like, I can't explain. It's like gender and not understanding people's culture, basically. So what I mean by gender is that, you know, some cultures, they feel as though a woman should be seen by another woman, or a male should be seen by another male, or they may have preference that they want to be seen by this type of doctor versus another type of doctor. And as far as knowing the culture barriers, or, you know, not knowing the cultures, I stated that you have to be aware of certain cultures, because you don't want to offend that person. So, like, say for instance, if that person don't believe in medicine, you know that culture doesn't believe in medicine, so do your research on the culture and give them other resources that you can promote instead of giving them medicine, to avoid offending them. But all in all, I said that language barriers are most common because, for instance, like my teacher, she has a strong accent. You might have patients who don't comprehend what you're saying because their native language isn't English. And what else? And then you may have patients where, if you're having a virtual appointment or virtual what am I trying to say, interview or things of that nature, then they might not understand you. And what if they don't have like a translator? Then how would they understand the material or the information you're trying to give them in order to what am I trying to say? In order to provide them the best services as possible. So yeah, that's pretty much all we talked about. I'm going to do another video of actually going over the chapters that we talked about like I did in medical assistant school. Some people really actually like that, so they can, you know, get a feel of what medical assistant school was like. But I'm gonna also do that for nursing school. Honestly guys, it's honestly so hard trying to do YouTube in nursing school because it's way different than MA school. With MA school, I was on campus, and for the last 2 classes of MA school, did I say nursing school? The last 2 classes of MA school were online, and that's when we first started transitioning to like distance learning. But in nursing school, I don't think I'm gonna be on campus at all except for clinicals and labs, and right now that is still to be determined because of COVID. So that's where we stand as nursing students of Fortis College, where I am. I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that post notification bell to be notified every single time I post. Guys, I just wanted to give y'all some content because I have been MIA for a while, and I'm just letting you know why, because I'm really trying to like focus on my studies, work, I don't know, just trying to get my life together so that I could provide a better life for me and my children and my family in general. So that's where I stand. And yeah guys, I'll see you on my next video. Bye.